Cyberpunk 2077 is just around the corner, and today we're going to go over everything you need to know to get ready for one of the most anticipated games of 2020. This is LaserBolt, and it seems like it was just yesterday when we were at E3 and watching the brand new gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077. Boy, when I saw the first gameplay in 2018, I was super stoked. Then we saw more gameplay in 2019, and I'm even more excited. And now it seems like we're just about almost 3.5 months away from, actually 4 months away from the release of Cyberpunk 2077. And one of the interesting things is that there is not a whole lot of information in regards to what is happening currently right now in the game. There is a ton of information of what we could expect out of the game, but as of right now, since the game is almost ready to be released, there is a very little bit amount of information, and I thought it would be a good idea to put this video together to give you guys an overview of what you could expect out of the game and if maybe this game is for you. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about Cyberpunk 2077. The first thing you guys want to know is who's actually developing these games, so you can kind of get an idea of what you can expect. This game is being developed by CD Projekts. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with CD Projekts, which is kind of weird, I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys should already know, they're known for producing one of the best games known as The Witcher. Not only did they produce The Witcher 2, but they even outperformed The Witcher 2 by creating The Witcher 3 and bringing new elements to the RPG genre. Now, in addition to that, guys, this is one development that they have been working on for quite a while, as it is said to be even bigger than The Witcher 3. Now, if The Witcher 3 was pretty big, this is set to be even larger than what we were able to do in The Witcher 3. There's multiple things you're going to be able to do, but one thing that we do know is CD Projekts is working on a game. The game is actually going to be pretty good, so we have that confidence there. And I'm kind of excited to actually check out this game. Like I said, I've seen exclusive gameplay before. Got a chance to check out the game, and the game is amazing. So I am really hopeful that what I've seen and what we've been shown so far is a good indication of what we can expect once the game launches. Now, if you guys would like to get a more insight look at what Cyberpunk feels like, or what the gameplay looks like, definitely check out our walkthrough video that we have live on the channel. I'll link it down below in the description, so you guys can definitely check that out. The game will be taking place in a city called Night City. Now, Night City is pretty much California, but didn't say what part of California the city was in. I'm assuming it's going to be San Francisco, just to the fact of the way the city is described. Now, I've been a Californian all my life, and I'm pretty much narrowed it down to San Francisco just because of the way it's being portrayed. So, Night City is a city that's connected to the network 24/7. That means that anything that you do within the city, it's either being filtered on the network, and everybody is being watched. So basically, if you drive a car, go to the market, do anything you want to do, the network will know that you are doing it. And this is actually pretty fun, because since you're technically a hacker within the game, you're going to have a lot of fun in Night City, as everything is going to allow you to have access to, and there are a bunch of different sets of activities and different sets of objectives you could actually do just from your computer alone. Very similar to Watch Dogs. If you ever had a chance to actually play Watch Dogs, it's going to be very similar to that, but a more integral aspect of all the different aspects you could do within the city. So we are extremely eager to find out more information about the city itself, but overall, in general, it's a city that's just connected to the network, and everything is being watched and tracked. Now onto one of my favorite things about this game, and that is character customization. Usually, whenever you pick up a game, you want to make sure that your character represents you in the world, and this game is set to have the highest fidelity of character customization. Everybody's going to be called the same thing. You're going to be known as V. That's going to be your name. But other than that, you're going to be able to customize everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Your hair, your nose, your your face, your body, your height. You're even able to customize your backgrounds. You're going to be given an option to pick what type of life events have happened to you to kind of determine what type of character you are. You're also going to be given an option as to why you're in Night City. What's the reason you're there? And that's going to pretty much determine your playthrough. So everybody is going to be known as V, but everybody's going to have a different backstory and a different look to your character. So there is a huge amount of plethora of characters customization. Let's say by far this game is going to have the highest amount of character customization we have ever seen. Now that has me pretty excited because we haven't seen a game that goes to this large amount of character customization. There has been a couple of games, but the way I've actually seen this portrayed and what I've seen in the back door and what we've also been able to show that you guys have seen as well, there is a ton of amount of character customization, and that is just the character alone. We're not talking about clothes. We're not talking about all that other stuff that you're going to be like piercings and all that other stuff that you're going to be able to do your body. But the character customization is extensive. Now, one thing I do want to let you guys know is that this game is going to be a mature game. Yes, so this is going to be probably rated M. As of right now, it doesn't have a rating, but I'm 100% sure it's going to be rated M because there is going to be a lot of graphical content, not only in the sense of shooting, in the sense of body parts being ripped up apart, but also in the sense of nudity and you walking around the world. It's just, there's a ton of mature content when it comes to this game. So if you are under the age of M, then I suggest you maybe look somewhere else. But the game will have a lot of mature content. And that's why a lot of people are kind of excited about the game as well, because they do want to see a more mature game. Think of it like Sims Deus Ex meets Watch Dogs, mature content type of thing going on here. So that is pretty much rounding it off. So make sure you guys know that this is a rated M game when you plan on picking it up. Now, in Cyberpunk 2077, you're going to be going to a place, or not going to a place, but there's going to be a place called Cyberspace. And Cyberspace is pretty much the Matrix. If you ever watched the Matrix movie, that's basically what it is. You're going to be entering the Matrix. The way you enter the Matrix is you're going to be able to go to a bathtub, and you're going to wire yourself within this bathtub. And the purpose of the bathtub is to avoid you to get fried. So, you're going to be connected to a couple of wires. And since there's so much information coming to your way, think of it like you're a computer and the computer's getting really, really hot. And the only way to keep this computer cold is to actually put it in water, right? So we technically kind of do that already with computers with liquid cooling. But it's pretty much like that, but in humans. You go into this bathtub, you connect yourself, and while you're connected, you're avoiding from actually frying yourself. And basically what happens in cyberspace is technically the past. So it's not the future, it's not the present, it's the past. And since you're a net runner, you're going to have access to the CPU, and you're going to be able to move around cyberspace and interact with different aspects of the games. I know it might sound a little bit confusing, but once you get to play the game and understand the concept, it will make perfect sense. If you don't understand the concept, just watch The Matrix and you will understand what I'm talking about. Red or blue pill, it's technically what we're going with here. And speaking of The Matrix, it wouldn't be a full Matrix rerun, reboots, reset if Keanu Reeves wasn't in the game, but he is in the game, so it's a full-on Matrix going on here. Another thing a lot of people were asking about Cyberpunk, will there be romance in Cyberpunk? Now, if you guys ever played The Witcher 3, you guys know romance was a big component of The Witcher 3. It got a lot of people routed up. We got a lot of people talking about it. And that is still going to be an option within Cyberpunk. There is going to be romance. You're not only going to be able to interact with different NPCs, and you're also going to be able to interact within the multiplayer. But currently right now there is no multiplayer. I'll talk a little bit more about multiplayer with another talking point after we get through this one, but there is going to be romance, and pretty much similar to what we had in The Witcher 3. It's going to be very similar here, but there is a ton more NPCs here, so you're going to be having a lot of interactions, so maybe a lot of storyline, or maybe some side quests will have you going that way, and you're going to have to determine what sort of romantic relationship you want to have within the game. And speaking of multiplayer, there is multiplayer that has been officially confirmed. Now, what we do know about multiplayer is multiplayer will not be released at launch, at least as that's what we know as of right now. It's going to be a add-on very similar to what we got with Red Dead Redemption, where the multiplayer came a little bit later. We don't know what multiplayer will entail as well. We don't know if there's going to be different quests, different sets of raids, activities. What we're going to be doing in multiplayer as of right now, we don't know. But we do know multiplayer is a thing. So if you're into multiplayer, the game will have multiplayer, but it won't have multiplayer at launch. Now, I know what some of you guys are wondering. Laser, is the game considered like a loot and shooter? Is it a first-person shooter? Third-person shooter? What type of game is this? This actually game is kind of interesting. It's mostly a RPG, first-person shooter. And there is a lot of elements to a loot and shooter and a lot of elements to a more MMO type of game. There is going to be skill trees. There's going to be different ways of you actually playing it. There is going to be different items you're able to collect from different bosses. So it's a mix of everything put together. And the best way I could actually kind of explain how the gameplay will feel for this particular game, if you ever had a chance to play Deus Ex, which was one of my favorite games. A lot of people never really got into that game, but it was one of my favorite games out there. And the thing I liked about that is the whole hacking ability of the game. If you ever had a chance to play that, this is like Deus Ex meets Watch Dogs put together in a first-person shooter environment with different abilities, different skill trees, different ways of you actually approaching the game. If you want to play it stealthy, if you like to actually rush and just go in guns blazing, you're going to be able to choose all that, and it's going to give you the ability to go around and pick what actually fits more of your playstyle. So if you ask me, where does the game fit in it's like in main core, it's pretty much a RPG first-person shooter, and I'm actually quite excited for it. Now, the biggest question is, when will we be able to play the game? Of course, yes. So it's been officially announced, guys, that the game will be launching on April 16, 2020. Now, that has me pretty excited, and it has me a little bit puzzled as well, because the game has been in development for such a long time. We got brand new consoles coming in November, and I never expected the game to be released within the old consoles, I should say, so the PS4 or the Xbox One. I was expecting the game to launch with the new launches of the consoles, which was the currently Xbox and the PlayStation 5. So I'm a little bit puzzled that the game is coming out in April 16. I don't know if the game is going to get delayed. I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't get delayed. But as of right now, we know that the solid stamp date for Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be April 16, 2020. Now, there is a ton of more information to talk about it, but I don't want to extend the video too long. But we will be covering everything within this channel. We're going to be covering character customizations in depth. We know weapons in depth. Everything you need to know about Cyberpunk, we're going to cover it here on the channel. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to stay up to date to everything Cyberpunk 2077. Let me know, what are you guys mostly excited about the game, and what will you be playing as? Will you be playing as a female character or a male character? In the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.